Hi everybody, it's Kathy from Huckleberry Herbs and Art, and today I am making pansy pendants. I think this is going to be a few parts tutorial. For this portion I'm going to be showing you just how to cut the glass so that you can make the pendants. And when I say make a pansy pendant, this is what I'm speaking of. So there's my little pansy pendant, and here's another one. Okay, so that's the finished stage. In the second part I'll be showing you how to just put the copper tape on, but right now I'm just going to show you how to cut the glass. Now first let me say I am totally not a professional. I am actually just learning how to do this myself, so hopefully you'll be able to bear with me as I go through the steps for you. You will need benzene. This is just a little bit of benzene in a glass jar from my husband's workshop. That is to put on your cutting tool. Each time you approach the glass, you should use some of that. Here is the cutting tool itself, a little wheel in the end, and that's what you cut the glass with. And I am using microscope slides, which I bought on eBay. I forget how much they cost me exactly, but they're just these rectangular slides. There we go, just so you can sort of see the shape. A little hard doing this with glass, so that's what we'll be cutting. My goal is to come as close to a square as possible. And I'm using a metal ruler, and you're going to need some paper towels, and I'll get going. And oh, almost forgot, gloves, glasses, watch out. Alright, so again, I just want to get a square shape. These are not perfect squares, they are handmade items, and perfect glass cutting I'm not doing. I'm just really getting started on this. Alright, let me just wipe my space a little bit. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking the width of the ruler, and you know, it's approximately the same, so you know, that's about a square. It's not perfect, like I said, and to tell you the truth, in some of them I like them to be longer so that I could possibly fit a larger pansy or whatever it is I'm putting in. Okay, so I'm gonna dip. I'm just dipping. That's it. Just dipping into the benzene. I have my ruler across the glass as straight as possible. I'm going to put pressure on either side to hold this down as best I can. And I'm using the side of the tool against the metal ruler to help guide me in as straight a line as possible, because it is not easy being straight, and I hope you can see this. I'm going to just come up over, straight down with a bit of pressure, and that's it. I have scored the glass. Paper people all know about scoring. Makes things work better. Okay, and then I'm going to put my gloves on and tip the glass away from me, and with any luck, holding right near the edge on either side, kind of hard to tell with these great big thumbs on there, of where I cut or scored. I'm going to push away gently from myself, and the result is, ta-da, somewhat a square. Pretty simple. Just need to be careful, as with most things in life. I'll do this again. Dip in my benzene. Get my ruler where I want. Pressure, but don't break the glass. Metal against the ruler. Up over the glass. Straight down. Gloves back on. And either side, push away. And there we go. Okay, so that's simple. Cutting glass. In order to tape these, you will need your 2 squares of glass. And I have already done so, but you will need your glass cleaner, paper towels, pair of scissors, preferably one that cuts a smooth edge. I am using, let me see, 5/8 inch copper tape, which I think you can get in just about any hardware store, and I actually purchased this on eBay. And your pansy or whatever you're putting into the glass. So very important to clean the glass, especially on the inside, because of course once you have sealed this and then spotted the fingerprint, you're going to be really disappointed. So get your glass just about as clean, and I can see a fingerprint right there just from lifting it up to show you, and you don't know what side it's on, so you don't want to get trapped into not being able to clean it from the outside because you've already sealed it. So place the pansy there. I'm just going to put that down for 1 second because I know that I would like to have my tape already started, and this is not too hard to do. This is a pretty easy one to peel. I'm going to actually fold that back just because it makes it easier. And it is metal. I'm trying not to bend it, which cannot be helped because it's really hard to be perfect and you're gonna have bends in it. Now, after placing everything where I essentially want it and checking to make sure that it's centered, and I do find that, you know, having a pin in case you decide, oh, I want to move it just a little, but you don't want to undo everything, is helpful. So it moves it around a bit for you without touching. And getting it centered is probably one of the parts of the taping that, as I said, this part can be a little tedious, but the soldering takes some time and effort as well. Alright, so I'm not worried about fingerprints on the outside. And I like to start on the bottom corner. And this is going to be a struggle because I do hover over it pretty much to get the job done. So you try, and you got to squeeze the bottom of the 2 pieces of glass, and this is the toughest one to put on because nothing else but your fingers are holding it, and yet you want to maneuver it everywhere to make sure that you have it centered, because you want to have a little bit of, or the same amount of copper tape end up on either side of the glass, so it's neat. And that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to run my finger along there. And starting over here, where I'm leaving this extra flap, I'm going to try to squeeze down on both sides at once, still holding the glass together. a little more slight burnishing and squeeze down both sides. And now pinching the next side that you're going to, I'm going to pull back the tape. At this point I am going to snip it off so it's not in my way. And I like to bring the edge fairly tightly up before I begin to fold this down. Now again, the glass is somewhat separated, so I want to pinch, bring it down a little easier now that at least one side is attached. To adjust, again, squeeze and try to make sure that you have the same amount of tape on both sides. When you're pretty sure, a little bit of burnishing, and try to slide it down both sides at once. Coming around the top, pinch the glass together, take off the next piece of paper, pinching and adjusting one more time. And remember, every time you adjust at the top, you gotta go back and fix the bottom. And I am having trouble with the bottom, which, you know, can be fixed later, but I'm just giving you the basic idea here. Okay. Not perfectly even, but we're going for it. We're going to come around the corner. First, try to burnish that up to the edge a little bit. Makes a neater fold. And to the best of your ability, center it. Checking. Slide across. Come down the sides. I can see that I need to adjust right there a little. Alright. There we go. Not too bad. And then, as I said, this moved a little bit. You gotta expect this. And as I said, if I'm here just doing this, it could be quite a while on one. But as it's a tutorial, just showing you the idea, I won't be too picky, but I would like to try and, because I am picky, fix that up a little bit. Again, I'm trying to push around the corner and squeeze the glass, but don't squeeze too hard because you will end up, and now of course I'm going to be back up here and it broke. Well, you know, you might as well see it. And again, the needle comes in handy here because I can flatten out the tape. Try to fix this tape. I will be probably coming back with more tape to fix that spot. Squeeze, slide, and I'm going to fold the bottom piece up and get that around the edges before I come down with this last one, and squeezing that side a little bit. Try to get it centered. Check both sides and make sure you have approximately the same amount. And hope it doesn't pop up on you. Yes, well, as I said, this part you could spend some time on. And again, I want to bring that edge close before I close that off. And I am going to cut a bit of this off so I don't end up with a lot extra. Remember, every little issue you have here becomes a soldering issue later, and I see quite a few of them on this one. Alright, so the next part, and I suppose you could use a tongue depressor, popsicle stick, you know, whatever they call them, to burnish. Alright, so now I find that my finger, and here's where you can do some adjusting to fix it. Here you go. See that? Rather imperfect. But for the sake of getting a video completed, I find the back of my fingernail really is the best burnishing tool. But you can use toothpicks or popsicle sticks or whatever you would like. I just find that this allows me to really feel. And of course the top. And you do need to be careful. Don't forget you have glass in there, and you could have a sharp edge, whether you're aware of it or not. And you don't want to cut yourself and putting a lot of pressure on the fingernail. You know, stay aware of the fact that it's glass that's underneath this thin tape. Okay, so I will most likely fix some of the imperfections, and here is one that I played with a lot longer than we have time for, and it looks pretty good. You're not expecting perfection. These are handmade, but getting them somewhat smoothed out before you head out for the soldering iron is a good idea. So you can see before I tend to it a little bit more, and after. And I will play with this until I get it more satisfactory, and then I will be back to talk to you about soldering.